Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, a huge debut is set for this week's AEW Rampage.
A major return on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite.
We have a backstage update on Candice LeRae's WWE future.
And an update on the drama between Charlotte Flair and Andrade. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
Alright, so over the past couple of months in AEW, it's safe to say there have been some pretty big debuts, right?
Yep.
CM Punk back in wrestling for the first time in 7 years. Bryan Danielson crossing over from WWE. Adam Cole crossing over from WWE. Oh my god, it's Minoru Suzuki.
Good,
in American
all
pro
good.
wrestling. Good, decent, great, funny, all of that stuff. But they're not Hook great, are they?
Send Hook!
The big man himself, Peter Pan's nemesis, the son of Taz, Hook, is finally making his in-ring debut on this week's episode of Rampage. They are sending Hook at long last. He's going to face Fuego del Sol. Now, this was announced by Taz, you know, at the end of Rampage when they do Dynamite, when they do all the announcements. Taz got up and said Hook. He says, what do you call him? A handsome guy with a cold heart or something like that.
He is all that in a bag of chips, I remember that.
Yeah, because he likes crisps. I like crisps, but I don't look like Hook. Where's the justice?
It's not fair, is it?
Where's the justice in this world? But also announced for this week's episode of Rampage, we've got the Lucha Brothers versus FTR, AEW World Tag Team titles, Adam Cole versus Wheeler Yuta. We've got Hook versus Fuego, obviously, and Ruby Soho, Ty Conti, Anna Jay, and versus Nyla Rose, the Bunny, and Penelope Ford. So, hey, it's always fun to check out a new wrestler working their first match ever, so I'm intrigued.
Yes, very excited for this. We've already seen a little bit of fan footage from people who were obviously there last night when they taped Rampage, and can confirm Hook looks like an absolute beast.
Oh, he's a gorgeous man, isn't he?
How did he get his hair to do that?
Don't ask me about
Yeah.
hair. It's like going to Burger King and trying to order a steak. What are you doing?
But I did like the fact that this was effectively a reaction to, well, one would assume Dante Martin screwing Team Taz in the Diamond Battle Royale thing for that beautiful diamond
The Ring War.
Dante Martin will face MJF in the final for that next week on Winter is Coming. The Winter is Coming special for AEW Dynamite. I just wish someone had, I don't know, predicted those two. Just another one to add to the list of correct Wilborn predictions. Everything in one column, and just a blank slate for predictions I've ever gotten wrong. So
John Moxley is indeed a WWE agent. So there we go.
Agent Ambrose.
Yeah.
Right, should we talk a little bit more actually about last night's AEW Dynamite? Because we got a major return during last night's show as well. Sue is back. Sorry, wait a second. No, Sue did also return, but more importantly, probably, she brought her son with her. Trent Beretta, better known, of course, as Trent now, is back in AEW, and he looks great. He's got that
shredded,
great haircut now, and he's shredded and stuff. He came out to make the save. Basically, we had that tag match last night between the Young Bucks and the Best Friends. Post-match, it all broke down. Big brawl. You already had like Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole having a fight on the outside. But yes, the Elites were being gits, basically.
Pieces of trash.
Beating down the Best Friends when all of a sudden a minivan pulled up driven by the ever-popular Sue. Great to see her back. And she dropped off Trent, who ran in and made the save, cleared the ring, and then he did the big, got to give the people what they want hug, and he got a fantastic reaction as well.
Yeah, tremendous stuff. Sue now is a member of Chaos with
yes.
Love to hear the conversations between Sue and Tomohiro Ishii. But yeah, it was fun. He got a cool reaction. He looks great. He's shredded. He's had the buzz cut, of course. He's been out for ages, hasn't he? Like, he had the neck surgery in June. I think his last match was in April, and even then, like, he had to leave just as soon as he'd come back from another injury. So it's been a crap year for poor old Trent, but we love him a lot, and we're glad to see him back. And Sue's a legend.
Yeah,
so.
He was one of those people who we'd be talking about Dynamite and we'd see Best Friends in action, and I'd want to pitch or talk about the fact, good Trent return. But it always felt a little bit iffy because, like you say, neck stuff is not something you want to rush back from. But my God, whatever he's been up to whilst he's been away, he looks incredible. And just really happy for him to be back. And like you say, fingers crossed 2022 is a better year for him regarding injuries because he's such a talented wrestler, isn't he?
You know who else is shaping up to have a good 2022?
Go on, Andy
Candice LeRae.
Hey!
Because her and Johnny Gargano are going to have their kid in February. Good for them.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. But Fightful Select have come through with a bit of an update on Candice's situation. So we've spoken about this before. Obviously, Johnny, her husband, may or may not be on his way out of WWE. Contract expires tomorrow. They did kind of like a farewell thing after the cameras went off on NXT this week. But also at the same time, Johnny did the promo where he got beaten up by, I almost said Van Wagner. It was Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller got some heat on him, and usually when stuff like that happens, you think, I'm coming back to get you. Or he may just have been putting a young guy over on his way out of the territory. Who knows? But update here on Candice. Now, it's been reported in the past by Fightful Select that Candice's contract doesn't align with Johnny's. We know that to be true because otherwise she'd be leaving on Friday as well. But her deal is due to expire in spring 2020. They, of course, joined the company at different times, so that would make sense. Now, something that's been speculated a lot, because Candice is pregnant and inactive, are WWE going to freeze her contract? Are they going to add some time on? Apparently, that topic within WWE has not been broached yet. They've not tackled it. So that remains an open conversation, an open debate. Are they going to do it? Are they going to add time on? Or are they just going to keep her beholden to her existing deal? Either way, we'll find out over the coming months. I think she's an extremely talented pro wrestler.
God.
And I mean, her and Johnny are shaping up for a big year anyway as their family grows.
Yeah, so. If this is the new NXT, by the way, how about we put the world title on it at some point? Not just yet, we'll go with her being pregnant, but like you say, spring 2022 is a little bit vague. The baby's due in February. Let's not be those people who are like, well, she gave birth last month, so she can probably return now. It takes slightly longer for women. I mean, they have done in the past, but it don't normally take them slightly longer, and let them have time off and be with their baby. That's part of the reason why people are thinking
wrestling, isn't it?
That's part of the reason why people are thinking maybe Johnny Gargano's not going anywhere. They've just gone, do you want to be there for the birth of your son and spend the first few months or whatever it is with him? Exactly. Although I've got a question that may counter everything I've just said in a little while. But yeah, I wasn't sure about the whole having a baby situation. But according to my sources, Andy Murray, you know I've got quite reliable sources with this sort of thing. They are not going to freeze our contract. They're just going to run it through to spring 2022 and then make a call after that. But because she got pregnant while she was a WWE superstar, the baby's already a WWE superstar. So
there you go.
That's my pick for the Royal Rumble in 19 years' time.
I'm here for it.
Okay, let's move on to the final story of the day. And drama, Andy Murray. Romantic drama.
We are TMZ now.
Look, there's been a lot of talk recently about the relationship between Andrade and Charlotte Flair. I don't really like talking about this, neither does Andy, because you're just speculating on someone's relationship. How is this really that relevant to wrestling?
So we'll keep this one, We'll
keep this brief. But anyway, Raj Giri provided a bit of an update on this. You may have seen a tweet the other day from Andrade tweeting about fake news, because a lot of people were speculating about whether or not they were even still together or who broke up with who, all that bollocks, which not really is that important in the world of wrestling. But regardless... Raj Giri, fantastic reporter of Wrestling Inc., of course, sums this up perfectly. He says, I try not to post personal stuff. He posted this on Twitter, by the way. I try not to post personal stuff, but the word I've gotten is that Charlotte Flair and Andrade are still very much together. Great news. Whether they are still together or whether they've just gone their separate ways, whatever makes them the happiest people, I hope that happens. But yeah, can we kind of put this one to bed, Andy, you reckon now?
I mean, it's kind of played out like a wrestling storyline, this in real life, hasn't it? Because there was various unfollowings going on and photos being deleted, and then the report came out about them splitting up, and now we've got a counter one. Andrade's on Twitter talking about fake news. He seems to be tweeting to Charlotte. He called her Mammy, of course. That's always what he's called her. Without atting her or whatever. I don't know what the hell's going on. Let's get to the Twitter questions.
Yeah, exactly. Just because you unfollow someone on social media, I don't think that really means anything. And like I said, it's just... let them, do whatever they want to do, whether they want to be together or they want to be apart. It's up to them.
I tell you what, I think there's probably quite a good chance that they've done this on purpose because they know that Bella-Ens like us will make videos about it. So if that's the case, fair play. I respect that.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Will Umhofer. I hope I've not butchered your surname too much there, Will. Who says, after the flat reaction on Dynamite, what are your thoughts on Riho? I think she's talented, but the waters are tainted because they didn't play to her strengths from the onset. Being thrown around by giants isn't helping.
I completely disagree with that. I think being thrown around by giants is exactly what Riho should be doing. Dude, she's tiny. They should be looking... Styles make fights. It's true in MMA and it's true in pro wrestling as well. And you should be looking to play up the contrast between people's strengths and weaknesses. Riho's weakness is that she is tiny and she has to find other ways of overcoming that. So I thought the Jamie Hayter match, while not necessarily the most over thing on the night, as you've touched on, was very effective because Jamie Hayter, compared to Riho, looks massive.
Yeah.
So when she does something like a backbreaker, Riho folds like an accordion and she bumps so well for these things as well.
And Hayter bumps so well too.
Yeah, Hayter's...
Oh my days.
Like, Hayter fell off the top rope with that crucifix bomb and landed... It looked like straight on her head. It was probably quite safe, but the way she landed... I completely disagree with this take. I think she wrestles to her style. I think she wrestles to her size. She's evasive, she counters, she uses her quickness, but she can't stand toe-to-toe with someone like Jamie Hayter. I think her presentation is absolutely perfect. I completely disagree, my friend.
Yeah, do you know what I think it is? And I think, I suppose that Will's taking this more as the reaction to them.
She's not over because she's not on TV that often. That's what I would say.
It's that, yeah, absolutely. And just... book more women's wrestling on AEW, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Like, I know people are going, oh, well, quarter hours and blah, 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 blah. Look, I don't care that much about all that because I'm not really asked about ratings. As long as wrestling keeps going, I'll be happy. But just put more than one women's match on a show.
Well, the thing is, like with the quarter-hour argument as well, and I get it. I like examining these things and stuff. And not everyone does. We're all different. The thing with these as well is like, how do you get to the point where these things do increase for the quarter hours? You have to get personalities and people over. And to get personalities and matches and everything else over, they need to be on TV. So it's a double-edged sword. I too would like to see more women's matches on TV in 2022. But maybe we'll get 2 for Winter is Coming. Who knows?
And the roster is now getting to the sufficient point where it's undeniable to use a Cody Rhodes phrase.
Really good.
Yeah.
Hayter, Shida.
Serena Deeb versus Shida, by the way. That's been announced for Winter is Coming.
Ruby, Thunder Rosa. You got like up and coming prospects like Jade. Britt's obviously great. Red Velvet. Like it's a good roster now.
Yeah, they're getting there. I'm really excited to see hopefully more of that in 2022. Second question today. We've got a message from you, Rude E, on Twitter, who says, "Hello there, my very good friends," in Andy Murray's voice.
Hey.
Should we be expecting Gargano as a surprise entrant in the Rumble as part of his introduction to the main roster? So I've sat here, Andy, and said, yeah, let him have all this time off, be there for the birth of his son, and maybe even have a few months off with him and Candice and blah, blah, blah. And then I see this and go, oh yeah, I'd really like Gargano in the Rumble. Yeah, they'll probably ruin him on the main roster.
I'm swinging back and forth like a pendulum on this Gargano situation. I'm just enjoying the ride at the moment, honestly, and thinking of all the possibilities. I think that I would not rule out the possibility of him appearing in the Royal Rumble at all.
Has he appeared in a Rumble before?
I don't recall. They used
I know Cole obviously was.
The Pete Dunne's been in, like they use these NXT people so randomly in these things, don't they? But I would say that with the Rumble, it's at the end of January. It's very, very close to when Candice will be giving birth. So maybe not, because you'd imagine Johnny would want some time off from everything to be around that situation. So I would say that I wouldn't put money on it. I don't put money on anything, so that's a bit pointless. But I wouldn't be too confident of that happening, but I wouldn't rule it out either.
No, exactly. I think maybe they may chuck him in, have him just do, be in there. He's not going to win the thing, obviously.
Imagine if he did.
But yeah, goes on to face Roman at WrestleMania. But maybe they do that, and then that's a sort of soft launch, and then he comes back after the birth of his child. I don't know. I'd love to see him in the Rumble, but I also think that wrestlers, and we should normalise generally men having time off when their children are born.
More time off for the mother, more time off for the father, time off for everyone.
Exactly.
Good.
Final question today comes from Elle, who says, can't wait for the WhatCulture Get the Table on Hook. # give the people what they want. Very excited, Elle. Yeah, trust me, we're going to be talking all about that in the AEW Dynamite review and the AEW Rampage preview, which comes out as a podcast tomorrow. WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. But Elle says, who should he wrestle next?
Cool.
When should he win a belt? And why is he the 5th pillow or pillar of AEW?
Get in. Wow. Okay, so I was quite surprised when they booked him against Fuego, because usually when you think of debuting wrestler, you think, they'll put them against like someone who's really experienced who can lead them through a match. Maybe Hook doesn't need that. Maybe Hook's just awesome. Who the hell knows? I would love to see Hook in a handsome battle. But that's just my favourite genre of wrestling.
Yes.
Handsome battles. Who's a handsome person that we could put?
I was going to say Rick. I always go Ricky Starks for that, but then that's kind of difficult. Cole,
that would be good. You know what would be really exciting? Leo Rush. It makes sense. Leo's a handsome chap and
Yes.
he's great at pro wrestling.
Yes.
Hook versus Leo Rush, let's do it. And when's he going to win a belt? Well, he should have won it already. Why isn't he world champion?
Yes, I'm going to say, I'm going to book him to submit Miro. That's what I'm saying. Because he's that damn good. And
With a headlock.
when's he going to win the belt? Revolution, which, by the way, boo, AEW, it's a Sunday as well, isn't it?
Oh, no. Why have they done that?
Yeah, it's a Sunday pay-per-view,
Come on,
if I'm not
Tone.
mistaken. It might be. It might not be.
Give you
I was very...
biased coverage for this.
I mean, you put it on a Saturday, you git.
Ah.
We've got the real problems
Hey,
here
Tony.
in the UK.
Fulham suck.
Right, let's move on to today's. And finally, and some fantastic news that broke yesterday, but we haven't had a chance to celebrate until today. Jim Duggan.
Yes.
It's been a rough year for him, but fantastic news. He posted an update to Twitter yesterday. He is now cancer-free. Shout out to him. Fantastic news.
Yeah.
Obviously, wish Jim Ross well in his recovery as well. He keeps posting seemingly daily updates about going for all the treatments and stuff that he's going through. So please do send him good vibes and nice messages because he needs it at this moment. We hear it all the time on Dynamite. But yes, this is very good news for Jim Duggan.
Yeah, tremendous. Everyone has in pro wrestling, everyone has their nostalgic favorites, right? People you loved growing up who weren't necessarily winning world titles and stuff, but you just connected and it stayed with you your whole life.
Yeah.
Jim Duggan was that for me, so very happy. Guy's a pro wrestling legend, of course. Great stuff in Mid-South, great stuff in WWF, WCW, whatever. Very happy for him. Great news, and of course, continuing best wishes to Jim Ross.
Yes.
As well.
Big fan of Swindon, if I remember rightly, Jim Duggan.
Swindon.
Yeah, I remember I seen him posting about it on Twitter ages ago and going, well, I wouldn't put those two together, but regardless, fantastic news. Congratulations to Duggan and his friends and family. You must be absolutely ecstatic. And as Andy said, just best wishes to Jim Ross in his recovery. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts, of course. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Whilst there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H today stands for, hey, rest in peace, Blackjack Lanza, iconic tag team wrestler of his era. Very important behind the scenes figure for WWE as an agent for many years, including during the Attitude Era as well. Hall of Famer, whatever else. Trained by Vern Gagne. Historic career. Sad stuff. Rest in peace.
Legend, yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.